When I scrapbook, the first thing I do is, first of all, I have to have a starting point. And in some situations, it might be that I have an embellishment or something that I really want to utilize on a scrapbook page. That's my inspiration, and I go and find photos for it. Sometimes I have photos or a story that I want to scrapbook, and that's the case here. And when that's the case, what I do is I pull out a piece of neutral cardstock like I have right here, and then I have the photos, and you might notice that they've got a big white strip on either side. These were printed at home on my Selfie, which basically prints photos right off of my iPhone, so these need to be trimmed still. I have not taken care of that yet, so I'm going to go ahead and do that soon. But first what I do is I take the photos and I take the neutral cardstock and I look at a couple of things. I look at number one. Is this going to be a single page layout or a double page layout? What I mean is it going to need to be a 2-page spread, or there's so many photos and stories that I need more space, or can it be contained to one single page? In this case, there is a story, but it's short enough that it should only take up a couple lines. And I do want it to be a single page because I want this to be the first page of my 2015 scrapbook. So with those things in mind, I know I want to keep things the way they are. I also know the way that these photos are. I printed them 4x6. I'm looking at the photos and I'm really not going to crop any of them. So that means that basically as they are here right now, meaning 4 photos pretty much all together, that's going to pretty much have to be how they are on the page. If I had 3 photos, I could rearrange them a little bit differently, but for 4 photos, and I'm not really seeing enough that I could crop and make them fit in other ways, I like to keep things simple. So I'll probably put them all 4 together here. I could center them. I could put them slightly up or slightly down. That'll kind of depend when I get into my embellishing. But basically what I have here, this is going to be the basic structure. I'm going to have all the photos here. And then I'll work out where I want exactly each photo. I'll also work out the title. If I were to leave it like this, I could put the title slightly onto the photos right here. How much journaling I have. In my head, it's a couple lines. The date, where we were, why we were there, that kind of stuff. And kicking off, you know, for a great year, that kind of a thing. And once I have those things down, now what I can do is, first of all, you can see I don't have much space on this one for embellishing. There's going to be very little embellishing space. There's also going to be very little room if I was going to do pattern papers, that kind of stuff. We have very little room because I want to make it so photo heavy. So much of this is going to be photo. So we do a balance here. Okay, if we're going to do a lot of photo, not much pattern, not much embellishing, simple title, short title is probably best. Journaling. Okay, so now that I know all of that, the next thing that I look at here is colors, okay? Looking at the colors, do I want the background to stay this? Do I want it to be, say, like a craft, a navy blue, a green, a pink? Like, what color do I want my background to be? I think I'm going to leave it actually on this and put a thin strip of, I'm actually thinking kind of this coral color or maybe green pattern paper or cardstock, but I'll do some kind of thin strip or maybe even washi tape, something, whatever it might be that I have, some kind of thin strip here and here to kind of accent that. I'll do a little bit of stitching, probably with black thread. And so what I really know that I need is to find a title font that I like. I'll probably use alphabet stickers and just gather a few supplies. All trimmed down, I'm ready to go ahead and adhere my photos. Now, normally, it depends on the design process, it depends on the layout. But if I'm going super basic, where I just have a simple cardstock background, and my tape dispenser here is a little messed up, but it still works. I'm not going to waste good adhesive. But anyhow, if I have a situation where I have a very basic design, and I know that I want, like the example here, I knew exactly how I wanted the photos. And I remembered that the pictures that I print off are actually slightly shorter than 4x6. They're actually like 3 7/8 by, oh, is it 5 3/4? Something like that. But anyhow, it's very slightly less than a full 12x12 sheet. So you can see I have a little bit of room here, and it's not, I didn't center it. And I did that intentionally because what I'm going to do is I'm going to use, this is washi tape. Any tape would work, any ribbon would work. What would also work is about, oh, let's see, 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch strip of pattern paper, of cardstock. Anything you've got will work. Remember that when you're seeing scrapbook elements that you like and you're thinking, okay, well, I like that, but, you know, I don't have that exact product. In most cases, you can just substitute for whatever it is that you do have. So I'm putting that along the top and along the bottom. And I'm also going to anchor this page so that it's all lined up to this side. So there is that gap on the other side. I decided I am okay with that. And this time, on this washi tape, I'm just going to put it slightly onto the photos, and you might notice that I am putting a little excess and putting it around the back. I like to do that because I find it just stays a little better. Okay, so I went with this kind of aqua blue design, and I also know I have these gold letters. These are foam American Crafts thickers, and I am going to adhere them on here with liquid adhesive because here's the thing. They are stickers, but this is the way I see it, is when you get these sticker letters and numbers that are dimensional, most of the time the adhesive on them, although these foam ones are a little bit better, but most of the time the adhesive on here is the same adhesive as, say, a flat letter or number sticker. Which is to say you've got all this extra weight but not like extra strong adhesive. And I find a lot of times I have problems with them falling off over time. So I always just add just a tiny bit of liquid adhesive, matte finish, you won't ever see it, just to reinforce my letters and numbers. Now I also have, I love American Crafts letters stickers. They're just the best. And I have these ones. These are round ones, typewriter key type. And I am going to line these up here. And I might need those a little different, but that's okay. That'll help me get it started at least. And it's also okay if a little tiny bit of glue shows because, again, this is a totally matte finish liquid adhesive that I'm using, so when it dries, you won't see it at all. Okay. And I can also just kind of scoot it to the side. These have a great typewriter font, and they're also, it's kind of a sparkly gold, so it goes really well with the other sparkly gold. And mixing and matching alphabet stickers is something I love to do. Why would I love to do it? Well, I love to do it because it helps me use up more stuff, get more stuff out there and into the scrapbooks out of my stash. Now I'm looking through some crepe paper little embellishments, and I was thinking it might be cute. Yes, I definitely like that. One thing that I always recommend to people is if you're not totally sold on something or you're not sure, do not do what I'm doing, which is just slapping it on, gluing it down. Wait. Instead of gluing it down, just wait. Now this is vellum. So this adhesive might show through a little bit. I'm not going to worry about it too much, but I'm just putting a tiny bit because I think I'm going to stitch onto there. These little die cuts, just beautiful little bits and pieces of paper here. These are going to be great because they're nice, that aqua with the pink and the gold. This is going to be a really nice little addition, a little bit of contrast here. Now I've got this tag, which I also like, but I feel like it's too big. You see how this is too big for anywhere, even up here. If I removed this one and did this one instead, it's just a little bit too big for this layout. Maybe it could work right here if I lifted everything up, if I hadn't glued everything down, or even if I had. Actually, no, it's too big. It's too big for what I'm doing, and it would work better if I had fewer items, if I had smaller amount of pictures, If I didn't have 2/3 of this layout covered in photos, then maybe we would consider this. But as it is right now, it's just not going to work. So we just move along. And I'm looking at, and I know I was just saying how that was too big. But I could look at something like this, because something like this, I could just go like this sideways and tuck it under the photos and under this too. And that I do like. I do like that. So I am going to put a little adhesive on there, and I do like to check stuff out like you just saw me do, where I kind of take a look here and go, okay, wait, do I like this? Do I not like this? I like this. So I like that little guy up there. I think I want to add a couple little buttons, maybe a little button here and a little button here. And then I'm going to put my journaling right down here. And guess what? We're done. As soon as I add on my journaling and my little bit of stitching, which by the way, I just do straight machine stitch set at about, I think it's 3.5 or 4. Just a little longer of a stitch, just so that it doesn't poke the paper twice in a, doesn't get too close and just create, a break in the paper. So I'll do a little stitching here, a little stitching there, add my journaling, and we're set. And there it is, you guys. That's my basic layout design and my first layout of the new year of 2015. Although I suppose at this point, it's not so much of a new year anymore, but that's okay. Having some fun, making some stuff, and I hope you've enjoyed. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me via email or comment, however you're comfortable. I'll see you next time.